Good evening, I'm Micah Ullman.
And I'm Cher Calvin.
We begin with breaking news in Santa Clarita, where there's been a deadly crash on the 14 freeway.
Tim Lynn is live in Sky 5 over the scene. Tim?
Yeah, we don't have Tim. We don't have an audio connection, but as you can see at the bottom of the screen, a motorcyclist has been killed on the 14 freeway, I believe very near to where it meets the 5 freeway in Santa Clarita. More information as it becomes available, and back to Tim when we can get a signal. Elsewhere tonight, chaos in North Carolina tonight after a second night of protests turns violent. At least one demonstrator was shot and is on life support. Several officers hurt during the unrest. Protesters initially took to the streets for a vigil for 43-year-old Keith Scott, who was shot and killed by a Charlotte police officer yesterday. But tensions escalated and police used tear gas to disperse the crowd. Police say the man who was shot tonight was injured by another demonstrator, not a police officer. North Carolina's governor has declared a state of emergency, and many residents just want the violence to end.
I can't represent any more people. We don't need more people to die. No more people being arrested. We need to take a stand and do it the right way. Well, people are hurting, man. People are upset. People are frustrated. And people need leaders. Now, I'm not trying to be that leader. I'm trying to prevent people from being hurt.
The governor is deploying the National Guard to the streets of Charlotte to quell any further violence.
Fury over the recent police shootings, not only in Charlotte, but also in Tulsa, is putting crime, punishment, and policing back in the political spotlight. Both
presidential nominees have vastly different ideas for changing police practices. KTLA's John Fenolio with us from the newsroom tonight. John?
Micah, shared the shooting deaths of Terrence Crutcher in Oklahoma and Keith Scott in North Carolina are the latest in a number of police killings to draw scrutiny from Americans, calling for police reform. Mrs. Clinton is proposing new federal standards for police use of force. Meanwhile, Donald Trump is advocating a controversial police tactic known as stop and frisk to be implemented nationwide.
No justice!
It is a central issue in the race for president.
Police just shot my daddy 4 times.
For all the wrong reasons. Americans outraged over fatal police shootings of black men.
Hold that police officer accountable!
Again, prompting Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton to respond.
It's unbearable, and it needs to become intolerable.
At an African-American church in Cleveland, Trump took the unusual step of criticizing Tulsa police officer Betty Shelby, who shot and killed Terrence Crutcher Friday. The 40-year-old father of 4 was unarmed.
Shots fired!
Ooh. 321, we have shots fired. We have 1 suspect down.
This young officer, I don't know what she was thinking. Did she get scared? Was she choking? What happened? But maybe people like that, people that choke, people that do that, maybe they can't be doing what they're doing.
In Florida, Mrs. Clinton again calling for new national standards for police training.
We are safer when communities respect the police and police respect communities.
In an unprecedented move in modern presidential elections, controversial boxing promoter Don King using a racial slur while introducing Trump.
If you are dancing and sliding and gliding, Negro.
But it's the GOP nominee who is facing criticism for insisting that black communities are worse off than ever before.
Our African American communities are absolutely in the worst shape that they've ever been in before, ever, ever, ever.
Congressman John Lewis, a civil rights leader, rebuking Trump's claim.
Is it saying that the condition are worse than when we were beaten at lunch counter or trying to get served? Is this man saying that the conditions are worse than attempting to gain the right to vote? Where is it coming from?
At a Fox News town hall tonight, an audience member asked Donald Trump what he would do to combat crime in black communities. Trump said he would bring back the controversial stop and frisk tactic, which allows police officers to detain and search pedestrians they deem suspicious. It's a policy that remains widely criticized by the ACLU and others who say it violates the civil rights of African Americans and Latinos. Back to you in the studio.
Thank you, John. FBI investigators want to speak with 2 men, possible witnesses who could provide information that's very important about the weekend terror attack in New York. The men were seen on surveillance video removing a pressure cooker with wires and duct tape from a piece of luggage that had been left in that Chelsea neighborhood on Saturday. They put the device on the ground and left with the luggage. The men are not accused of any wrongdoing at this point, but the FBI is asking for help finding them. Meantime, terror suspect Ahmed Rahami remains hospitalized and unconscious after he was shot and wounded on Monday.
The Ventura County Fire Department is mourning tonight after one firefighter was killed and another injured in a rollover crash. They were headed to the Canyon Fire on the Central Coast when their water truck overturned near Lompoc. 38-year-old Ryan Osler was killed in the accident. Osler was an 18-year veteran of the department and the son of a firefighter. Bridges from Santa Barbara County to Ventura County were filled with fellow firefighters and other loved ones who saluted the hearse as Osler's body was brought home. Osler leaves behind a wife and 2 children.
A student in Hesperia is under arrest tonight for allegedly making terrorist threats. The arrest comes after authorities found what they called a detailed plan to shoot 33 students and staff members at Encore High School. San Bernardino Sheriff John McMahon is confirming there were 33 names on the hit list. He also said the unidentified student had, quote, limited access to firearms. Authorities did a sweep of the school this morning and found no explosive devices. The investigation began Saturday after a parent saw threats posted on social media. The suspect is now being held at a juvenile detention center. Investigators believe he was acting alone.
An apparent fight over a girl leads to a violent confrontation on the campus of Rancho Cucamonga High School.
One student is stabbed and 2 others led away in handcuffs. Mary Beth McDade spoke to the victim's mother and has the latest on his condition.
His mother tells us that the stab wound is pretty deep, and so her son will have to remain in the hospital at least for the night.
Really upsetting.
Anasa Lavender was on her way to work when she got word from her son Milan's teacher that he had been stabbed at school.
All I know was 5 kids jumped him and one, of course, stabbed him.
This student saw the chaos on the Rancho Cucamonga High School campus Wednesday afternoon, right outside a classroom.
I ran over there to see what was going on, and I see this huge crowd next to the student that got stabbed, and he had like a shirt pressuring on his stomach.
Milan, who's 17 and a junior, was rushed to the hospital. Meantime, the high school and nearby elementary school went into lockdown while police tried to round up all those involved in the attack.
Oh, it was kind of scary because we got put on lockdown. I didn't know if they were still on campus or if they fled.
Several students were detained. As for the motive behind the stabbing, Milan's mother doesn't know all the details yet, just that it was over him saying something to a girl.
I guess the girl didn't want him to talk to him. He said something to her, and then her cousins came in and got him.
She says her son is a very friendly kid.
Milan's outgoing. He's a people person. Really down to earth type kid.
Milan's mother tells us she's not sure what this means for his football career this year. She tells us his wound will take at least a month to heal.
And for his friends, he's doing pretty good. He's just laying in the bed.
And tonight, Milan is cooperating with authorities to determine all those involved. For now, in Rancho Cucamonga, Mary Beth McDade, we'll send it back to you guys in the studio.
One Orange County principal is fed up with bad behavior, so she's canceling the homecoming dance and pep rally this year at Corona Del Mar High School. The principal says that students were intoxicated and unruly at a recent football game against a rival school, and that police presence and breathalyzers are now going to be necessary at all events.
The behavior of many of our student fans was despicable and deplorable. Clearly, the administration, the teachers, and the coaches have a much higher expectation for our school and our students than some of you students have for yourselves.
The principal also sent out a memo saying she expects students to represent themselves with integrity, both on and off campus.
A surprise cash gift of $8,000 from an anonymous animal lover has delighted the Pasadena Humane Society and SPCA. The $8,000 gift was quietly slipped into the cash donation box late this morning. It came in a pile of crisp new $20 bills. The office is located on South Raymond Avenue in Pasadena. The philanthropist did not stick around to get any pats on the back. The shelter takes in about 12,000 animals each year, and they say the money will really help.
We were here on a normal adoption day, and when we started the day, we had about $2 in our donation bin, and within a couple of minutes of a visit from some random stranger, we ended up with a whole box of $20 bills.
The shelter says if the donor would like to come forward and be identified, they would love to thank him or her in person.
Anonymous though, right? Yeah, okay. Still to come. Kids find an 8-foot cobra in their front yard. We're going to show you what it looks like next.
Plus, another troubling encounter with creepy clowns, this one caught on camera.
Can we just go back to the kittens? I don't know, slithery snakes and creepy clowns. Can we just go back to the kittens? I don't know. I'm just asking. Okay, here's a live view from our LX camera where we've got mostly clear skies. The temperatures are going to cool down tomorrow, but there is a big warm up on the way. I'll have the details coming up. Plus, of course, Darren, the birthday boy.
Thank you very much, V. Coming up tonight, we got the final giant game for Vin Scully and the Wild Horse. Did him proud. The magic number shrinking before our very eyes. Plus, the Rams unpack the Buccaneers. What is Jeff Fisher's biggest concern? And it looks like the Lakers are going to have more peace this season. Meta coming back. Details coming up.
New reports of menacing clowns taunting children have surfaced in Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Police are investigating after several youngsters say they were harassed by a clown who chased them before disappearing into the woods. The Pottsville police chief says 2 men dressed as clowns were seen around town yelling at children, but the chief says no violence or threats were involved.
That is creepy. Take a look at what a Pennsylvania family found slithering through their front yard. Yes, an 8-foot false water cobra. Fortunately, look how big that thing is. The snake generally does not deliver a fatal bite, but the family did not want to touch it anyway. They waited for a local snake expert to help trap it in a trash can. Springfield Township police officers reunited the runaway reptile with its owner.
Doesn't matter how old you are, where you're from, or what you do, traveling can be a headache. One of the biggest annoyances when flying is when someone kicks your seat. So
yeah, that's right. Tonight's Money Smart, what you can do to save some stress.
American airports had a busy summer. An estimated 231 million people were expected to fly on U.S.-based airlines from June 1st to August 31st. That is an all-time high, according to an airline trade organization. When looking at the same period last year, it's an increase of more than 95,000 people per day. With more people comes more travel headaches, according to research from the CMO Council and AIG Travel. By far, travelers said flight delays and cancellations frustrate them the most. When on a plane, the biggest pet peeve, when someone constantly kicks your seat, followed by people who recline their seats too far, loud passengers, crying babies, and people who take too much room in the overhead bin space. To help make your flying experience a little less stressful, don't rush. Budget more time than you think you need. Also, apply for TSA PreCheck, which allows most passengers to keep their shoes, jackets, and belts on while going through security. According to the TSA, in July, 97% of pre-check passengers waited less than 5 minutes in the security line. Also, research travel insurance. It could save you some stress, especially if you have to deal with lost luggage or a trip cancellation.
All things to remember.
Yes. Yes. And, well, if you're going to leave town and leave the heat, right?
Right, gotta get out.
Gotta get out.
Yeah.
Gotta get out. Because technically, guys, tomorrow it's the first day of fall. And we're going to have a little summer-like weather.
Right.
Yes.
Funny how that is.
How funny how that is. Those temperatures are going to feel a little summer-like. However, our wind pattern is going to be a little bit more fall like? Because it's going to be a little Santa Ana wind event, and we usually get Santa Ana winds. Well, traditionally we get them in the fall, but you know, with the weather pattern changing, now you kind of get them all year round sometimes. But we won't get into that, because that'll just spark a big conversation, and well, we got some weather to get through. We got to show you your 7-day forecast, right? Okay, beautiful. Pylons, LAX, mostly clear skies, no marine layer tomorrow morning when you wake up, or maybe perhaps just a teeny tiny little hint of it. But really what we're going to be talking about over the next 24 hours, of course, are going to be the fire weather watches and the warnings that are going to be in place. And again, these could extend all the way into the early part of next week, and that's because while the winds are going to be gusting out of the northwest at about 40 miles per hour, we are also going to see things get a little bit hectic on like Monday when the winds shift out of the northeast. So at the moment, though, you're looking at some current temperatures, and it's still pretty lovely outside. Upper 60s for Van Nuys in downtown Los Angeles, even along the coast. Here are some more temperatures for you. Ontario, 70 degrees. And here is going to be our big weather maker for the next 24 hours. So at the moment, the area of low pressure is sitting to our north. It's going to drop to the southeast, and as it does, it is going to bring winds out of the northwest, and then eventually they'll shift out of the west. We are going to see sustained winds somewhere between 25 and 35 miles per hour, and other spots to about maybe 45, and then isolated gusts to about 60. By the time the second half of the weekend rolls around, we're going to see the wind shift out of the northeast, and that's that traditional wind pattern that I was talking about that we see during our fall months. Here's what we're looking at. Lots of watches and warnings, red flag warning, wherever you see that pink, fire watches and wind advisories where you see the tan and the orange. And again, these could potentially be extended all the way into Sunday and Monday, because again of that change in the wind pattern again. Tomorrow, though, temperatures are going to be slightly below average in some spots. Keep in mind that it's going to be the coolest day of the 7-day forecast, because then look, boom, there it is, 102 for you on Sunday. San Fernando Valley, San Gabriel Valley, you're going to be in the low 100s as well. So again, that is going to be there for like 3 days, so get ready for that. LA Coastal Basin, low 80s and then low 90s, and we'll hold it in the low 90s for at least 3 or 4 days there. For the Inland Empire, you're going to see that same weather pattern where the temperatures will begin to warm up over the weekend, and then those warm temps will stick around until the extended forecast. And then for Orange County, about the same, upper 80s, low 90s for the weekend. Ooh.
There it is.
There it is.
Happy fall. After a battery recall that we've all heard about, Samsung Note 7 devices are back in stores.
That's right. In tonight's tech report, Rich DeMiro explains what you need to know about the safety of these devices.
It has not been a good month for Samsung. The Galaxy Note 7 was a promising device until a battery issue forced a major recall. Now the company says the issue is fixed and replacement devices are arriving in stores now.
To our Note 7 owners, if you have not yet replaced your original Note 7, please power it down and return it.
For an Android phone, Samsung's Galaxy Note 7 nearly had it all. An amazing camera, big bright screen, and it uses your eyes to unlock. Then this happened.
Tech giant Samsung reeling this morning after the federal government announced it is recalling the Galaxy Note 7 because it can explode or catch fire.
Now Samsung is in the process of recalling over 2 million Note 7 phones they sold worldwide. So far, over 130,000 have been returned.
We did not meet the standard of excellence that you expect and deserve.
Everyone rocking the new Note 7, might catch fire, yo.
Samsung traced the issue to a faulty battery cell and says the problem is resolved. If you got a Note 7 before September 15th, it needs to be exchanged. You can check if your model is affected by visiting samsung.com/US/Note 7 recall or downloading the Samsung Plus app. It will scan your phone and tell you if it's among the recalled handsets. If it is, you can exchange your phone for a new Note 7, a Galaxy S7 or Edge, or get a refund. If you stick to Samsung, they'll give you a $25 credit. New Note 7s are in stores now. You can identify them in 2 ways. The battery indicator is now green, and there is a black square on the box.
To be clear, the Note 7 with the new battery is safe. The battery cell issue is resolved.
Samsung is also sending out software updates to the affected phones, warning users to stop charging them and to bring them in for an exchange. If you'd like to learn more, go to the website. It is richontech.tv. I'm Rich DeMuro. That's your Tech Report.
KTLA 5 Sports Final, powered by your Southern California Ford dealers.
The postseason is around the corner. For the Dodgers, they have to figure out how to hit left-handed pitching. Coming into tonight, they had the worst average in the majors against lefties. The Giants send out Matt Moore tonight, who almost no-hit the Dodgers the last time they met, but no such problems tonight. Bottom of the first, L.A. jumped right on him. 2 on for Yasiel Puig, and he crushes this fastball. 3-run bomb to center. Dodgers scored 5 in the first. Giants pulled more after just 1 inning of work on the offense. Rolling tonight for L.A. Ahead to the third, Howie Kendrick with 2 on. Drives this the opposite way over the head of Hunter Pence. Carlos Ruiz, Charlie Culberson come on down. Kendrick actually tried to go to third, get a triple, but he got nailed. Dodgers led it 8-2. Kenta Maeda got the start, went 5 innings, struck out 6. Got some help in the field from the Wild Horse, who runs down that drive to rob Joe Panik, and the Dodgers cruise. 9-3 your final. Magic number now down to 5. Here's Dave Roberts on the maturation of Yasiel Puig.
You know, he talks about being a better teammate. And, you know, when you're not in the lineup every day, there's some sacrificing. And so he's in a good place mentally. And for him to get rewarded on the field and see his teammates embrace him and support him, obviously that feels good.
Quick reminder, this Friday, KTLA will be broadcasting the first of 6 of Vin Scully's final games for the Dodgers. Our pregame coverage gets started at 5:30, counting down to the game. First pitch between the Dodgers and Rockies at 7. Then next weekend, the final 3 games of his career, period, in San Francisco. We will also be bringing those to you. Angels and Rangers wrapping up a 3-game set in Arlington, 5th inning. Mike Trout, see ya. His 28th home run of the season, 3-run shot, 5-1 Halos. At that point, they hold on, get the 5-4 win. Now to the Rams. They were back on the practice field today at Cal Lutheran, preparing for Sunday's game at Tampa, where they will face the 6'4", 231-pound quarterback Jameis Winston. In his first 2 games this season, he's thrown for 524 yards and 5 touchdowns. Jeff Fisher says he presents a big challenge, literally.
It's the vision, the quick release, the accuracy. He's got big targets. He uses the height, of his targets. He runs the play-action game really well.
He ain't as mobile as Russell Wilson, but he definitely can move in the pocket and hurt you with his legs if you let him. So we got to make sure we watch out for that.
And guess who the Lakers are bringing back? Metta World Peace. They came to terms on a 1-year contract. Metta played 35 games last season with the Lakers. He will turn 37 on November 13th. Peace happens to be a former teammate of the new coach, Luke Walton. Quick break. Back to wrap it up right after this.
And before we go, Darren, happy birthday.
There it is.
Thank
you. You don't look 37. I mean,
Hey, Metta.
Metta.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, happy birthday.
Speech. You got 5 seconds. Make it a good one.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.